accompanist. Hi, I'm Ruth Roshan, and I've decided that like me, you might have a little bit of spare time at home at the moment, and I thought that I'd make a few videos on the subject of tremolo, mandolin tremolo, which is something that I love about the mandolin. And so I've set 4 lessons about tremolo, and it's designed for people who already play the mandolin but might like to fine-tune their playing. This first lesson is sort of a fundamentals lesson, and I'm just talking about the things that I do to achieve the sound that I get. Now, you should do what sounds good to you. This isn't prescriptive. This is just talking about some of the things that I do, and you can take them and leave them as you see fit. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the pick. That pick that I use, as you can see, is a very thin pick, teardrop pick, murderer. This is very suitable for my hand because my fingers are pretty thin. And when I was initially had some instruction about mandolin, I would hold it this way. I was taught to hold it this way. And then I had another teacher who said, no, you need to change your technique. And I had to hold it this way. So I spent a lot of effort changing my technique. Then somebody else came along and said, actually, you were right the first time. Go back to how you were. Well, what I found is sort of something in between seems to give me everything that I want in terms of being able to rotate, in terms of being able to come up and down, and really playing very, very freely. So what I found is this, this sort of semi-bent holding of the pick works best for me. Some people hold the pick with 2 fingers like that, and that certainly gives you a lot of control. I think you'd probably choose a bigger pick if you're going to do that. But for me, I like sort of the fluidity and the freedom that this holding of the pick gives me. Second thing is about where you actually play on the mandolin. Again, I was taught, and most people are taught, to play approximately here on the mandolin. So, you know, something that I usually do is I tend to move a little bit and virtually play over the top of the sound hole. And the reason for that is it gives more of a bell-like, fuller sort of tone. So my home position or whatever tends to be about here. So if I go, I don't know if you can tell through the video and through the iPhone speaker, but it's more of a sort of a gentler tone. And then there's the kind of haunting tones of playing close to the fingerboard. You know, this is more for effect, you know. Or, of course, close to the bridge, look. Anyway, you get the idea. But so my home place is here, not here. Again, personal preference, because I want that purer tone. Now, I want to talk to you about where I put my arm. I have a habit of resting my arm on the mandolin and doing the tremolo technique pretty much with my wrist. This is the sort of action that I use. It's a very relaxed action. I try to avoid a building of tension in my wrist, because obviously tension means you've got no longevity in the tremolo. You'll get sore arms, you could get an injury. I mean, it's okay if you want to go hell for leather for a short time, but I found that if you want to play for a long time, having a really relaxed feel is what you need. And then the last thing I was going to say is that we would, when you do tremolo, you know, I generally play both of the strings on the down pick and then one string on the up pick. And when I play both of the strings, I rest my pick on the next string, assuming it's not the E string. So the sound is sort of like, this is a slowed down version. And if you want more volume, you can change that, but that's pretty much what I do, but sped up. So a good exercise to do is to do it slowly and then double and then double. So I will play the note B and on the A string, and I'll show you, and you can sort of play along with me. It goes. So that's a slow one, and then double. And double again. Double again. Now. And then you can do it on different strings, practice on different strings. Perhaps we'll practice on C on the G string. Okay. You get the idea. Keep practicing that, and I'll talk to you about other aspects of mandolin tremolo technique in the next videos. As I said, there's 4. The second one is about, well, let me look. I have a plan here. The second one is about how to play legato versus discrete notes. It's about joining it up or not. The lesson 3 is about dynamics, and there are a bunch of different ways to create the louds and softs, and they all sound different. And if you combine those different techniques with dynamics, you are able to produce that sound, which hopefully you can pretty much create any emotion that you want to create with your music. And the last one is about trills and double stops, tremoloing the double stops and trills. So they're the 4 lessons that I want to talk to you about. If there's anything that you especially want to talk about or know about, then feel free to add a comment, and as I'm making these videos, I'd be happy to address that question, or if not, if it's all over, I can address it in the comments. I really would love to hear from you, and happy playing.